Welcome to a Power Yoga class with me, Ria. And today's yoga will focus on the head. Something as odd as the head. So unroll your mat and join me. Now, in lots of different traditions, both religious and non-religious, the head has a specific meaning. Now, in a lot of traditions, you cover your head as you enter into a church or into another holy place. We know that in the Bible, the head was anointed with oil. We know that in yoga philosophy, we have the crown chakra, which is where you feel that enlightenment and connection with the divine. And we also know that the Holy Spirit, the first time the Holy Spirit in Pentecost was given to the disciples, it was shown as this kind of an fire somehow on top of the people's heads, or the disciples' heads. So the head has always have had a symbolic meaning or meaning more than just thoughts. There is something there. And this is why I thought it would be fun to do a Power Yoga class with the theme on the head. And of course, we're going to do a headstand also at some point. I'll show you the steps so you don't have to do it all if you don't like it. But right now, let's just breathe for a moment. So close your eyes and let those sitting bones reach down. Erect your spine towards the sky and focus on the top of your head, the crown of your head. Maybe you're sitting a little bit more tall and straight than you're used to. And maybe you notice how being seated like this helps you maybe gain some confidence. Sitting taller, lifting your head. And as we come into the presence of God, we don't need to bow our heads in order to be humble or anything like that. We could, but today I would like you to focus on looking God into the eyes, or Jesus into the eyes. Because through grace, there is nothing to be ashamed of. We can stand tall. We don't have to sneak around or hide ourselves. Sit tall with your head lifted as the daughter or the son of God that you are. So God, as we come into a yoga practice today, may you anoint our heads, our thoughts, our minds with what is yours. Help us stand tall in your presence because we know that we are loved, because of who you are. Take a deep, full inhale and maybe hold your breath for just a moment. Open your mouth, exhale. And being ready to move maybe now. Still eyes closed, do some seated, free movements to warm up the spine. Now, as this is a power yoga class, and often people who enjoy power yoga are used to doing yoga, I will not be doing a lot of the what we call basic cues, explaining a lot about where the feet and the hands are going, because I believe most of you would know. And if this becomes too complicated somehow, or too hard, there are flow, and slow is really good kind of yoga if you're new into yoga, because it's explained more and there's time in each posture. All right, let your wrist get some movements. And then find tabletop. And actually, it's a good idea to bring a block today. I didn't mention that, but if you have one, grab it. Find tabletop, and again, free postures here on the mat. Moving your spine in any direction that is helpful. And if you feel a little bit foolish or feel like being a little bit strange on the mat as you move freely here, please let that go, okay? It's you with God on the mat, and God sees you do everything, so why should weird postures here with your back in tabletop be any different from all the other weird stuff that we sometimes do? And let's take our right hand up over our head and thread the needle with postures here. So we're not going to stay there. We're going to move. Inhale up. And exhale, twisting our spine, shoulder come down. Inhale up. And you're welcome to use your Ujjayi breath, that snoring, exhaling sound through your nose. Inhale. As you breathe in, it will often be silent, somewhat. So it's only the exhale that had that noise. Switch sides. Left hand up over your head and thread the needle. Notice how you lift through your arm. It's almost like a one arm push-up kind of situation as you lift up. One more philosophy, if you will, that focus on the head is actually also Chinese medicine. They have an acupuncture point at the top of the head that is also something to do with wisdom and depression, or actually release of depression and stuff. So we have this tender spot on the top of the head, also like in physiology, like the way that we are actually made in our skull. Find down dog. And move your legs. Move your neck. And try to move your shoulders. Maybe actually doing what we normally don't do. Lift them up towards the ears. And then move them back and away from the ears. You can do that a little bit, like kind of a down dog push-up. All right, find a breath, standing still in down dog. And then walk your feet to the top end of the mat. Fold forward, shaking your wrists. Chair pose, so sitting low. You can have some distance in between your feet if you like. And you can stay there. I'm just going to turn on the mat so you can see. Arms reaching up, so you sit here low. But to get our legs warm, we're gonna sit all the way down, so more down than you usually would, and then up halfway. Step your right leg out, just your toe out to the side. You might do your cactus arms as well. Coming back into chair pose, sitting low. Up, maybe all the way, maybe just half the way. Other arm and other foot out to the side, coming back. And let's do that. So you may inhale, exhale as you sit down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, coming out. So your spine is leaning forward a little bit. Creating heat in our thighs. So just pointing your toes. So as you might see, I'm not going to focus it's not going to be headstands all the way through, of course. But a lot of shoulder here. One more to each side. And from the top of the head, lean forward, stretching out the legs. Lifting up halfway, plank to low plank, palms down on the mat, step it back. Shift over your toes and lean forward and down. Lifting up your chest, downward facing dog. So let's do a few sun salutations. Move to the top end of the mat, fold forward. Reach your arms up, inhale up over the top of your head, maybe picturing a crown. Exhaling, folding forward. Halfway lift, inhale. Plank to low plank, jump back, shift over your toes, lower down, inhale, cobra. And then we're gonna lower down again. All right, it's gonna be a version of sun salutation. Lift up through your plank, shoulders back, on toes and knees, and then find down dog. So it's gonna be a push-up sun salutation. And follow our breath, inhale to the top end of the mat. Forward fold, exhale. Reach up, inhale, maybe looking up. Exhaling, folding forward, taking our time. Inhale, half lift. Exhaling, plank to low plank. Cobra or up dog. You're welcome to let go of your hands here. Lower down as you exhale. Elbows by your ribs. Inhale to plank, take your time. Exhale, down dog. Inhale to the top end of the mat. Moving a little bit fast here. Exhaling, fold forward. Inhale, reach up. 3 times through, more. Exhale, down. Half lift. Plank, low plank. Cobra or up dog. Inhale. Exhaling, taking your time again, not too fast. Inhaling, moving slowly up, engaging those triceps. Back to down dog, exhale. To the front, inhale. Fold forward. High mountain. Welcome to close your eyes, exhale, fold forward. Half lift. Plank, low plank. Lifting, go high, go low, slowly, come on, slowly, plank, down dog, breaking a sweat yet, to the front, fold forward, high lifts, high mountain, last time, fold forward, half lift, plank, low plank, lifting, lowering. Here we go. Slowly. Down dog. Beautiful. Let's stay in down dog. Take a breath. And try in down dog to notice where your head actually is. A lot of people have their head like tucked in, right, like I have now. Some lift and look forward, but try to align your ears with your biceps or your arms. Try to notice that pressure on the top of the head as your head is down. Lift up your right leg all the way up and open up your hip, pointing your toes. So just to go for as open a hip as you can. Squaring off your shoulders and line the shoulders with the short end of the mat. Holding this leg elevated as you breathe. And closing the hip and drawing the knee underneath your belly and take the right foot there to the right hand. High lunge. So lifting your arms up overhead. And of course, we want to go with quite a distance here in between our legs, but we want to engage our thighs even more than just going low. Try to picture yourself tearing your mat in two parts right here. So the front leg is pulling to the front, the back foot is pulling back. So really pull. You feel that. Keep pulling. Maybe start shaking a little bit, but continue. And you can start pulling, taking your left hand down, twisting. Hip go low without bending and relaxing this back leg. Engage the back thigh, open up your chest. Warrior 2, grab the block, the top hand, turn the back foot around, find Warrior 2. Take the block, the top or the front hand, and hold it. You might even hold it like this. And you feel the weight, especially if you have a block like I have, maybe at the top end of the hand or the arm. Now lift the block up over your head like a crown and take the hands. You can put the block in either direction. I like this a little bit wide here. So you're staying in Warrior 2, hip aligned with the heels, shoulders aligned with the heel. Navel in, root lock engaged. Lean forward as you squeeze on the block. Coming back, still squeezing, going into peaceful warrior variation. So coming up and down like this. Core exercise if you are in doubt. Keep squeezing the block firmly in like you could make it shorter. And it's a nice thing to bend the elbows a little bit. Next time you're at the back, release and let the back hand hold the block and stay in reverse warrior, but with the back hand reaching out like you're handing something to a person standing behind you. Let go, windmill the arms around, step it back, down dog. Our vinyasa with a push-up if you're into that. So coming into plank, and again, lower down. Chest lifts, and lower down if you want to take that push-up. Variation. So again, elbows in, not out, if you can. No, toes or knees lift up, and then down dog. Left leg, lifting it up, and again, opening up your hip as much as at all possible. Notice that you still breathe. Notice that you are alive. And you can stand tall here, no matter the shape of your posture right now. Then close your hip, draw the left knee underneath your belly, and then to the top end of the mat. Again, hip width distance on the long end, high lunge. Making sure your spine is tall as always. Engage your core, maybe even more than you normally would. And then again, ripping the mat apart. Move, pulling down into the front on the front foot, pulling down into the back on the back foot. And if it's too hard to focus on both, maybe just focus on the front. Keep pulling. I'll buy you a new mat if it actually works. Pulling it over. All right, beautiful. Twisting left arm up. You can release the leg a little bit, but still activating it. Warrior 2, grab the block at the top of front hand this time. Again, hold it, going low, align the heels. And try to engage the back thigh a little bit so you don't lock the knee by shifting the knee all the way back as much as possible. We want to have that micro bend. And we're going to do our core work again. And this time, try really to picture right now that we're taking this. I know the block is just a block, but right now it becomes a symbol, all right? A symbol of the crown that God puts on our heads because we are princesses and princes, kings and queens of God the Almighty. So you can kind of place the crown on your head like you would as a kid. Maybe close your eyes. Just going to stay here for a moment. You are royalty. Did you know that? You don't take the crown off. Just picture it staying there. But we can lift the block a little bit away from our head, okay? And core in and then move forth and back. Noticing if your spine is okay with this movement. And staying heavily bended in the front leg. And I might go a little bit faster than I would with my breath typically, but anyway. Next time you're back, take the block to the back of the hand, do your peaceful or reversed warrior with this block lifted. Align the arm with the floor. All right, not coming back into plank. We're going to move into wide-legged forward fold. So take that front leg and move it to the front. Align the heels. And if you need to release anything before that, do that. All right, forehead down. Now we're going to practice something that some of you might love and some of you might not. You're going to stand as wide as you can with your legs. We're going to go into our first headstand. Now you might not want to do this, so you don't have to. You can just let the top of your head reach down. So I'm not leaning as much into my legs as I could, okay? This is step one. Just notice that sensation of things in your head. If it doesn't work at all, just sit on your knees, put your head down. Now, if you want to try going into a headstand from this weird posture, you want to place your hand in a tripod position so that your hands are on the mat like you would have it in plank. And then your head is making the third ankle of the triangle. From here, lifting up your legs, and you can just do your clown pose or go all the way up, seeing if you can find balance here. And of course, you can fold your mat if you like to. No need to stay for that long. If you're ready to come down, try to widen your legs. See if you can keep your balance and come down with their feet on the floor. Whew, shake your legs, walk yourself to the top end of the mat, and come down on your spine and just rest with your forehead on your hands. Now our head is being holded by the neck. And the neck is a really fine structure if we speak about anatomy. So we need to be mindful of how we use it. We need to actually also strengthen it. So we can do that now to grasp the hands behind your head and pull a little bit down on your head as you lift up. So try to stay here, pulling down, but lifting with your head, with your neck, your head into your hands. So you're resisting lifting, but lifting anyway. Coming lowering down. And maybe just shaking your neck a little bit. Take your hands underneath yourself. Step back, maybe stretching in a dolphin or, puppy pose for just a second. And then finding down dog again. And we're going to play with a sequence more into our legs and balance. To take your right leg up, and let's begin there, step it to the top end of the mat. Now we have been here before, but right now we're going to try to do a lunge like we would in a traditional strength class. So you might take your hands over your head, and then as you lower down, bend the back knee. Let the back knee hover over the mat. You might want to reach down to see where the mat is, and then lift up. With your hands maybe out to the side to help yourself, lean a little bit forward. Let go of the left leg. See if you can hold the balance, bending the standing leg and crossing this over to a version of eagle pose. So squeezing the inner thighs. From there, releasing the leg, doing I would call it a version of Warrior 3, like a arrow shooting to the front. So here. Core involved, so you don't arch the back or do anything else, but standing strong. You can do your cactus arms, just once or twice. Reach your arms up, then lowering down, ready to repeat. So let's do that a little bit faster. So low lunge, arms over your head. Lean a little bit forward, maybe arms out to the side, let go. Coming up, both legs bended, squeezing, good. Thigh hug, letting go, stretching both legs, leaning a little bit forward. Cactus arms. Reaching up and lower down. Left leg again. Low lunge or a version of it. Leaning forward, arms out. Eagle pose. Ready for shooting Warrior 3 with cactus arms. And you're welcome to do this faster or slower. Gonna do it a few more times. Focus your gaze on the floor and have some fun. And remember to breathe. Keeping your right thigh steady, not leaning out to the side. Let's do it one more time. And then move your hands to the mat, step into plank, lower down, cobra, or just a back bend, down plank pose again, down dog. Shake things out. Left leg. Lift it up. Now we know what to do, but we're going to do it slow the first time anyway, just to get used to this sequence that might be new to some of us. So again, bending the front knee, arms up, going down, hover right knee this time over the mat, lifting up, leaning forward. I take my arms out to the side. See if you can keep your balance. Down in your left leg, crossing right on top. Give the thighs a good squeeze. Slowly releasing, taking your right leg back. Actually, I like flexing my foot as I do this. Arm over, core in, cactus arms. And lower down. Are you ready? Let's do this. So hover the knee up. Leaning forward, arms out to the side. See if you can keep the balance. Both knees bended as you cross. Right leg on top. Squeeze. Letting go, stretching both legs, arms up, flexing right foot. Cactus arms. Right knee down or leg, foot down. Lean forward. Making sure that you stay low here, at least the first few times. The first two postures, actually. And if your arms get a little bit tired, just shake them out. There's more to this with our shoulders than we might realize. Just holding our arms out here, up here, is something in itself. Two more times. Don't go too fast. I want you to focus. I want you to do it well. To engage, even though your legs, thighs might be on fire. Fly with the eagle. And when you're done with the last one, just stand at the top end of the mat. Close your eyes. Take a sip of water if needed. One more, hopefully fun sequence. Take your arms over your head and again, forward fold. Lift up halfway, step back, plank, low plank. Again, lift up, chest, lower down. Plank, and down dog. Plank, making sure we are always engaged in our arms as well. All right, new sequence. So take your left leg and lift it up and take it to the top end of the mat. And find a version of wide-legged stance and come up here. So it doesn't really matter where your feet are right now. You are gonna move, let's say, into your left leg. Now, if you can't see anything, welcome to stand in this direction of the mat if your screen is there in front of you. I'm gonna call it, I think skater or something like that. Lean over, bending this leg to the side, coming up, leaning over to the other side, like you're reaching out. So I'm moving my feet so my knee and my toes go in the same direction, okay? Leaning forward. Trying to keep balance. Working into my thighs, my core. So now we know this one. One more time to the other side to even things out. And come into a wide stand, fold forward. And then lift up. And if you're standing super duper wide, you might want to shorten the distance a little bit. Take your arms out to the side. Leaning first to your right side over. Engaging your core, leaning back, getting into our core and our abs again. Stretching as well as engaging. Try to picture yourself having a wall behind you, so you're not leaning back. Engage your thighs. All right. Look to the front end of the mat, so maybe your left leg is at the front. Release the back right leg into warrior 3. Now again, you can stay with your hands on the block, whatever you want to do. But if you can find warrior 3, it's a power pose. Stay here for a bit. Lower down right leg. And then we do our skater or scooter, or whatever we want to call it, to the other side. So now you're looking back to the back end of the mat. Turning, so your gaze at the back end of the mat, finding warrior 3. This time should be in the other leg you're standing. So gaze on the floor and see if you can find balance. Staying there. Lowering down the foot, again, our scooter skater thing to the top end of the mat. And from there, take your arms up, standing as wide as you like. Toes can point out. Move to your right side. Core in, lift up. Move to your left side. And because this is so fun, let's do one more time. And maybe you can notice you can come out deeper, but engage your core. Engage your side as you move to your right. Coming up. And again. So now we are actually doing our sequence. We're going to do it one more time. So you move to the front of your mat where you normally would be. We're going to lift right leg and find warrior 3, or whatever version of warrior 3 you can here. Take your time. I'm a little wobbly. I'm going to stay here for a few breaths, stretching both legs, flexing the back foot. Lowering down right leg, moving our toes, feet pointing, reaching out to your back side. And turning on your toes, your feet getting ready to warrior 3. Left leg this time up. Woo, it takes a lot of balance. Lower down the foot again. Make your way, reaching to the front of the mat. Coming back to the center, arms out to the side. Leaning to your right side. Going back, just once this time. Up. And the other side. And windmill your arms around. Make your way into down dog. Shake things out. That's a little bit of a different kind of yoga sequence, I would say. Now you can come down on your knees and maybe take a pause in child's pose. We're going to do our headstand now, and we're going to spend a little bit of time in it. So if you want to go to a wall and practice up against the wall, that's such a good thing, especially if you're a little bit nervous, okay? So just drag your mat to any wall that you know can hold you. And we're going to do it step by step. So I'm going to fold my mat because we're going to stay there for a little bit and feel the pressure. And neck issues, head issues, you can always do a little bit of this, I would believe, but of course you know your body best. So you can start with the top of your head down. Just like this. Now I'm going to do a traditional headstand. So I'm going to grasp my hands behind my head. And that the elbows reach out. So I am not putting my elbows in by my ear. So you can just stay here with the knees down. Now if you want to put a little bit more pressure on your head, you can always lift the knees up. Engage your arms. Walk your feet closer, and then this is the more advanced, I would say, headstand. I can stay longer in this one, but it's also a little bit more advanced. So slowly come up. If you're afraid of falling, don't go higher than just knees up. If you feel somewhat comfortable here, stretch your legs up. See where you're going. Keep your eyes open. And stay here with me for a bit. Remember to breathe. Keep lifting through your shoulders, engaging your core.
And then make your way down, trying to be a little bit controlled. If you just got up, you're welcome to stay. But if you're ready to come down, child's pose. Take your hands down by your side, forehead on the mat, and then make some movements for your neck. Or maybe just sit still, relax, and notice what all this did to your body. Lifting up and coming into a seat. Legs to the front. And grab your block. And now we're going to again try to sit tall, sit strong as the children of God that we are. So we're not going to, fall in. We're really practicing that. And as we practice sitting strong, lifting our chest, lifting our head, we might also be better at doing it when we go out, not in the world, in our jobs and our everyday life. Not that we're fighting people or any power battles, anything like that, but more holding on to the truth that we know and to the love that we know we are and the worth that we know that we have. All right, so let's practice that. So move your chest forward. Now you might want to take a block in between your thighs, so just to engage your thighs a little bit more. And then we're going to sit in our boat pose for just a bit. Squeeze the block. Focus your gaze, and again, sit tall, maybe taller than you're used to. Put a smile on your face, even though it might not feel really natural to do it now. Stay here for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming back. And we did that with a block. We can do the last bit of a fun sequence maybe. So butterfly pose. You can gather your feet, but don't go too close. Okay, we're not going to sit here for that long. Lean a little bit forward, maybe with your elbows pulling your knees down. But from here, we're going to sit up again, tall, coming back into a boat pose, maybe whatever version of your boat pose you want to do. Then come forward again, our butterfly pose. Leaning back, core in, sitting as much fun as you like. Again, forward, knees out. And continue just for a few moments. Last boat pose. And let's just stay in our butterfly pose just for a moment. And maybe you feel like you can actually go wider or lower with your knees than you normally would, because we've been doing this kind of small sequence. As we sit here, there was one verse that I want to share with you from Psalm 3, verse 3, NIV version. Lord, you are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. How beautiful is that? So maybe you want to say that out. If you don't trust the verse, maybe
Speak it as you would want to trust it or lean into it. Lord, the Lord are a shield around me. My glory, the one who lifts my head high. The one who lifts my head high. All right, moving further down on the mat, hug your knees in, and maybe relax a little bit from side to side here. If there are any stretches that you really, really miss, welcome to do that. We're just going to do one more. It's called Plow Pose. And you would know that you can sit up and lean forward, doing a seated forward fold instead of this. If you have neck issues, so please look at the screen before you get into this posture so you won't move your neck if you don't know this. Staying here, or if your feet can reach down, stay there. Relax your shoulders. Slowly make your way out of it, holding your hip as you come down. Let your feet reach the floor, knees bended, and relax for a moment. We're going to do just 3 minutes of resting, or Shavasana as it's called, on the mat. Before we completely become quiet, I'd like you to stretch out your legs and just rest, finding resting pose. The block can either be used under your chest or your head, whatever you like. And just one last image of the crown and the head. As I was preparing this class, I couldn't help but think about the crown that Jesus wore. It was not a crown of diamonds and gold and other precious things. It was a crown of thorns, pinching into his head, his skin, pulled down over his head. Not to glorify him, but to humiliate him. And this was the crown that Jesus wore to the cross. This was the love that he showed us so that we could be set free. So we could lift our heads up. Not being pulled down by shame, guilt, by other people or things that have happened in the past. So Jesus wore that crown so that we can wear a crown, being daughters and sons of God the Creator, having community with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. So you're welcome as we're quiet here for a bit. To let your heart be thankful for the crown on your head. Saying thank you for the price paid for you.
and the love that is shown to you. I will end this class with a prayer that you're welcome to pray with me. God, thank you for the crown on my head. Thank you for everything that you paid for me to be free, to gain the wisdom of your love. Help me appreciate it, remember it, and share it. Amen. So as you know, you always slowly come out of resting pose by moving your legs, your fingers, and all of that. So take your time. But I'll finish the video now. Thank you for being here. God bless you.